Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmat and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Storm of Swords, chapters 68 and 69, Sansa and Jon. In these chapters, Sansa arrives at the Fingers and Janos Slynt arrives at Castle Black. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Okay, Harmat, who died in these chapters?
Oh my god. No one in Sansa's chapter? Question mark.
I don't think so.
In John's chapter, we had one of our people die, right? Or like a couple or something.
I think people have died and they've named scarecrows after them. But I forget who these people are. So I guess they must not be important. Moving on.
Yeah, so there was a few of those people, and then there was one guy where they were like, oh, somehow he got hit in the foot, but he wasn't supposed to because the aim is so bad. There was a
no,
whole thing.
He got hit in the foot, but it was his wooden foot, so it doesn't matter. I think.
I don't know.
Listen.
This feels like a fever dream.
Yeah, so when I was reading these chapters, had no ability. Usually I'm reading, I listen to them and I read them. I'm doing 2 readings of them. I'm taking notes, I'm highlighting. This week, I could only manage to listen to them, so the details are fuzzy, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's who died. What was your general impression of these chapters?
Sansa's chapter was just ick after ick after ick after
Mm-hmm.
ick.
Although some revelations, though.
Were there revelations? Oh yeah, there were. Oh my god, yes. What? I totally Hey, I read these 3 days ago. They're coming back to me as we speak. Okay? Yes, there were definitely revelations. Yeah, but it was so much ick that I couldn't revel in the revelations. So I could just ick at the icks, you know? And John's was it was nice and it was beautiful, and then it went downhill real quick, and it was really irritating. So both of these chapters were generally irritating.
Well, okay. So why don't you go ahead and summarize them and jog my memory, because I don't remember no shit.
Okay, Sansa.
No, I remember the things. I could probably do a summary, but anyway, you're the one who has to do it, so ha ha ha.
Okay.
I'm gonna revel in
my misery?
Misery, yes.
Please.
So, summarize in 3, 2, 1, go.
They arrive at the Fingers. She's confused because it's not Winterfell. He makes fun of her as per usual. He's making fun of his entire homeland, everything. We meet some people, and then Lysa arrives, and he's getting married to Lysa, and he's like, this is my daughter from, I forget what he said, but Lys or some shit. And then finally he tells Lysa, and Lysa's like, you're gonna marry my son now because my son needs a play date. And that's what you do when you need a friend.
Switch.
Jon, fight, die. They make a turtle. He's like, you ain't making no damn turtle. He releases barrels, frozen barrels, with dirt and ice and shit, and then, or gravel, something. And then they release the barrels, and we stop the turtle, and it's this happy thing, but then he goes to bed, and then he's waking up, and then Janos Slynt is here, and he's doing his whole, I'm the leader now, not you.
That's a minute. Remind me, were there any barrels involved in Jon's chapter? Because it didn't come across in your summary.
Did I say barrels a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
You spent 20 of the 30 seconds talking about barrels.
I like barrels. It's a fun word.
Okay. All right, if you say so. So should we just get into it then?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not missing one of our segments or anything.
No, we're good.
All right, so Sansa. They are pulling up on the fingers and
Question.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Who is Lothar Brune?
He was one of the guys on the ship, and hang on, somebody was like, he's important, like, we've met him before, but I was like, okay, I guess. And I totally forgot about him, so let me look him up right now.
Okay.
So he's a free rider who takes part in, like, the Hand's tourney at King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
And defeats, like, Jory Cassell in that.
Oh, that's kind of good.
Yeah. And then he also fights in Joffrey's name day tourney.
Okay.
And, he's the one who fights Dantos. I think we discovered this the last time he came up, and I was like, yeah, right.
Oh, he's the reason why Joffrey was like,
no,
shit.
He's not the reason. Well, Dantos was drunk and naked.
He was involved. Like, he was there.
I don't know how much he was responsible, if I'm totally being honest. Because he was just supposed to be Dantos' opponent, and Dantos showed up drunk and naked. Like,
yeah. No, that's what I meant. Like, he was directly involved in that.
Yeah, and he fights in the Battle of the Blackwater, and
okay, but like,
that's
why is
pretty
he
much
here?
Well, he works for Littlefinger now, so
that's annoying. Why?
That's why. I don't know.
Okay.
So Littlefinger's ship is pulling up to the Fingers, and Sansa's like, what is this, shitty ass looking place? I don't want to be here. And Littlefinger's like, yeah, we're gonna head on out over here. And she's like, but shouldn't we, like, stick with the ship until White Harbor? Like, why are we getting off here? Because she still thinks she's going to Winterfell. And Littlefinger's like, no, we're going home, but not your home. We're going to my home. And this is it.
I can't.
Yeah. Also, Sansa's been sick throughout, like, seasick through this journey. So even though, like, it's not great, but she is looking forward to having some solid ground underneath her.
She's still having her little nightmares, and the trauma is still there, and she's thinking about, like, Tyrion. She's like, oh my god, and she makes the mistake of fucking telling Littlefinger, like, oh my god, like, he didn't even do anything, whatever. And then Littlefinger just spins the entire Tysha thing, like, and
as, like, just Tyrion's fault, like, Tyrion like did it on purpose and that kind of thing, yeah.
And I just hate Littlefinger, and it makes me so sad that there's nobody who can fact check him in any of his interactions with Sansa. And I just worry for Sansa's well-being, Yeah,
well,
I don't like it.
That's kind of like a constant state of being for Sansa, unfortunately.
Yeah, but at least with, like, Cersei, it was like, as soon as the rose-colored glasses were taken, like, as soon as she told her, and, like, the dad shit happened, it was like, oh shit, I can't trust anyone.
And Sansa hasn't figured out Littlefinger like that yet.
Yeah, so it's like, she's still at that vulnerable, because we all know, like, Sansa wants to believe in people, and Sansa wants to trust people, because that's always her instinct, And it's like, I just worry that she will end up actually trusting Littlefinger. But whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, so his little tower keep doesn't have a name. It's just like the place where the Baelishes go. I don't know. And he's really, like, shitting on his own home. And while I was listening to it, I got, like, really defensive of his home, like, against him. I was like, what the fuck, dude? This is your home. Like, you may have seen better and bigger places, but doesn't mean that you should just he's constantly making fun of it, and like
I know.
you could be like, yeah, it's a little sad, I know, but it's home. Like there's like a way to say it.
He doesn't see that. He just it just reminds him of everything that he constantly tries so hard to escape. And then like every time it's like I feel like, and like you can through all the conversations, it's like he's so neglectful of it because he doesn't want to acknowledge that it's his, because in his mind he's like, oh well, I'm a city boy now, I'm all this, you know? It's like, no, your name is literally Littlefinger, like, claim
Munda
it.
penda dasi shad jaake shahri ho gaya.
Basically.
Sorry, for everybody who doesn't speak Punjabi, that's a lyric that says like, the guy was from a village and became a city goer once he went to the city. Like, it doesn't sound as good in English. But
yeah, you gotta keep your roots. And like, yeah. And he just, and like, I get it, you know, like his whole sad story is like, oh my god, I loved her and I couldn't be with her because of my fucking small origins. But it's like, still, that's not your fault. That's like other people's fault for viewing you that way. Like, claim your home.
Yeah. Anyway, so he tells Sansa that they won't be staying there for very long because he and Lysa are getting married. And Sansa's like, wait, what? Like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, aren't you gonna give us blessings? And she's like, yeah, I hope you have many happy years together and children and things.
You're so happy. And she has a thought, she'll be kind to me for my sister's sake, surely.
Mother's sake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I don't know why I said sister. For my mother's sake, surely. And I just couldn't help but laugh a little in my head.
Yeah. Oh, poor Sansa.
I can't. But yeah, at this point we like meet his like
household
servants who are holding down the fort.
Kella, who does like the cooking and cleaning, I think, right?
Yeah.
And there's a guy that's his steward. What's his name?
Umfred.
Okay, whatever. And
Grisel's like the castle keeper.
Yeah, Kella has a bunch of like kids, and they're all bastards, but she seems happy with it, and why shouldn't she be, you know? Yeah, they're like, oh, it's nice to see you, but like we didn't prepare for you. We would have changed the carpets or something. He's like, it's fine. We're gonna be leaving soon anyway. Let's get inside. And the whole keep is like, it's like 3 floors, and like the bottom floor is where the servants live and do all their things. The middle floor is where they, I guess, like the common room, like they meet and hang out and that kind of thing. And then at the very top is the 1 bedroom, and that's like pretty much the extent of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a small place, whatever, like, but like it's just kind of like George R. R. Martin spent so many chapters and words just basically saying it's small and sad.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and then then Sansa notices that there's a shield in the hall that has the Titan of Braavos on it, and we learn that this is Peter's grandfather's shield, who was Braavosi, and then came as like a sellsword to the Vale and was knighted and whatever, and got this land in turn. But Peter doesn't identify with the shield, so he chose his own in a mockingbird, so
interesting.
I mean, it does suit him more, but like yeah. So they get all their stuff to the shore, and Sansa's just she they bring her some wine to like ease her stomach, and bring some fruit and stuff, which later plays into Littlefinger's like, I like the juice, but I don't like to get my fingers sticky, because like, he's trying to be like, I want to do all the schemes, but I don't want anybody to know I'm doing the schemes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very eloquent. My speech, I would say.
Please. Oh my god.
Um,
It didn't feel right coming from Littlefinger.
yeah, also Sansa, like, looks and feels like shit because she's been on a boat for so long, so she's like, can I please bathe off all this grossness off of me?
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, I get that. And, okay, so then Littlefinger's like, okay, so before everybody gets here, we should decide who you're gonna be. Because being Sansa Stark won't work.
Yeah.
So you are gonna be my natural daughter. And Sansa's like, but can't I be like some other guy's like true-born daughter? Like, she is so stuck on this bastard thing.
Yeah.
Which, like, her mother's prejudice kind of seeping into her, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hopefully through this experience, she will learn to overcome that.
That would be very nice. Oh my god.
Yeah, and they're thinking of a name, and she's like, well, I could be Catelyn. And he's like, even though I see you as as a Catelyn substitute, that won't work. So he names her after his own mother, Elaine. And so she is Elaine Stone. And her story is that her mom was a gentlewoman of Bravos, daughter of a merchant prince. Like, why would the daughter of a merchant prince ever even look at you, Peter? Sorry.
Please.
But they met in Gulltown, and her mother died giving birth to her, but Peter never knew she existed. And Sansa, aka Elaine, was raised by the faith. And when she had her flowering, she decided she didn't want to be a Septa, so she reached out to Littlefinger to be like, hey, daddy, like,
please
give me a home,
God.
or, I don't want to do this thing.
Here. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and Sansa's like trying to be like, okay, I guess it's like a game. And immediately, like, Littlefinger's already talking to her as if she's Elaine. Like, are you fond of games, Elaine?
Yeah. Yeah, every moment henceforth, he's like, Elaine, Elaine, Elaine. Even when they're just
he
alone,
is really
I was
grilling
like,
into her. That's, like, the only way she's gonna get it right, though.
Yeah. But it was just funny. Like, every sentence would be like, Elaine, Elaine.
Yeah, and he goes into this whole thing like, oh, some people are good at playing games, or some people are being played in the game.
As much as I hate Littlefinger, I feel like this is gonna make Sansa, like, I don't know what Sansa's future arc is, but I feel like this whole, like, Littlefinger being like, homie, some people are the pieces, some people are the players, like, whatever. All of this constant Littlefinger bullshit, I feel like will just make her, like, really, like, she'll be good at the game. And she'll just, like...
This is, like homeschooling 101 for her.
Yeah, weirdly enough. Like, as much as I hate Littlefinger, I feel like this will be really good for her if she's ever, like, super, like, powerful in the future, or, like,
I mean, she has been exposed to all of the power players in the realm, pretty much, so...
True. But now it's kind of like, it's like, well, I'm doing this because blah, 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 and this person did this. Like, I feel like this is, like, such a little, like, almost, like, cheat code vibe that I feel like it's like a little crash course, and I feel like it'll be really helpful. He's like...
I don't know how much of a crash course it'll be if, like, this is gonna be her life for the rest of her life.
Yeah, but, like, she's getting a lot of information thrown at her at once. So at least right now, it definitely feels like a crash course.
Yeah. Anyway, he's like, oh, your dad was like a brave, honest, and loyal man, but he wasn't a good player.
That was the only half-decent thing he said that I could stand with him on.
Yeah, and Sansa's
like a better
and
person.
I guess I was a piece instead of a player. And he's like, don't be sad about that. Everybody starts out as a piece. And there are some who think they're players but are really pieces. And then he calls out Cersei. She thinks herself sly, but in truth she is utterly predictable. Her strength rests on her beauty, birth, and riches. Only the first of those is truly her own, and it will soon desert her. She wants power, but has no notion what to do with it when she gets it.
Damn. That gotta hurt.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, his whole he kind of reveals his like overall overarching strategy, which is to figure out what somebody wants, and once you know what it is that they want, you can manipulate them, which makes sense.
This is basically what he did with Sansa.
Yeah.
And everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sansa's like, oh, is that how you got Dantos to poison Joffrey? And Littlefinger's like, Dantos? I could never trust him with something so important. No, his job was just to get you from the castle and make sure you wore your silver hairnet. And
dear God.
Yeah. So Sansa's like, wait, if it wasn't Dantos, who could it have been?
Oh my God.
And okay. Like there's like a weird like interlude here where he's like, well, you know, there's like nobody really that's like openly loyal to me in King's Landing. You could turn King's Landing upside down and not find a single man with a mockingbird sewn over his heart. But doesn't mean that I'm friendless. And then he calls Oswell.
What the fuck? What the
yeah.
Okay. Also,
no, but like
Ola called this in the No. Ola called this in the Discord. Because Ola would also Ola's predictions are always like god tier. Like literally could not be me. And it makes me so mad because I'm like, why are you so smart?
No,
anyway.
You kind of called it too. You were like, this is like one of the Kettle Blacks. Like,
yeah, but I wasn't like, I told, what was my quote? Someone pointed this out to me, and I still think it's so true, where I was like, I'm really good at getting like 60% of the way, or like whatever it is.
Yeah, and
where
then just
like I was
talking
like,
yourself out of it pretty much.
Exactly. I was like, this is a Kettle Black. How? I don't know. You know? I was like, oh, it's the third guy, but then you were like, no, he's in the Kingsguard, and I was like, oh. Like, it just, head empty.
Yeah. Well, you didn't think beyond, like, you weren't like, well, they probably have family.
Well, yeah, because I was like, didn't we, like, because, like, I did remember that, like, we called them over, but I was like, how would their family be here? We called them over. I didn't think it was the opposite, where the dad was there first, and then, you know? I was like, how would their family be? Like, you know? Because they just kind of showed up and showed out, basically.
So that's revealed here, and yeah, she, like, basically he calls him over and is like, take a good look at him, and Sansa's like, oh my god, you're a Kettle Black. And he says, if it please my lady, and Peter says she's beside herself with joy.
I love whenever anyone makes this joke. This is my favorite joke that they do in this universe repeatedly.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and then Littlefinger's like, okay, so what's more dangerous, a dagger brandished by an enemy or the hidden one pressed to your back by someone you never even see? And Sansa's like, of course, the hidden dagger, blah, blah, blah. So we learn. So the Kettle Blacks are interesting. So they, Cersei thinks she owns the Kettle Blacks, but Tyrion thinks he actually owns them. But in reality, it's Littlefinger who owns them, and in fact planted them when Cersei went looking for somebody, and Bronn went looking for somebody to give to Cersei that she was looking for. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
What the fuck? It's some long-term thinking.
Actual fuck. This man is so cunning, and I hate it. It's like, the intelligence is wasted on him, and it makes me so mad.
I feel like he would disagree. He feels it's perfectly
I don't care what the fuck he thinks. I really don't. And he's not here to screw me over for thinking that. Like, right. I hate him so much, but I can't not respect him. But I also don't respect him, you know?
Yeah. It's makes me so mad. To be. He's definitely a love-to-hate character.
Oh, yeah.
And a hate to somewhat respect character as well.
Yeah.
So Sansa's like, okay, does that mean that one of the Kettle Blacks poisoned Joffrey? And Peter's like, well, I didn't say that. Like, they're fine, but they're way too treacherous to be a part of such a scheme. Which, wow.
Yeah. Please.
And apparently Osmond has become especially unreliable since he joined the King's Guard, so maybe Littlefinger doesn't have as much control over the situation as,
He's on his own shit.
Yeah. And that's when he does the whole, like, I love the juice, but I loathe the sticky fingers. Whatever you do, make sure your hands are clean.
Please.
And so she's like, okay, if it wasn't the Kettle Blocks, it wasn't Dantos, and you weren't even in the city, and it couldn't have been Tyrion, who could it be? And then Peter's like, I bet at some point during the evening, somebody told you your hairnet was crooked and straightened it for you.
I hate this book. I went back to that chapter, and I want to burn it.
Why?
Because it makes me so mad.
That you missed it, or like
yes. That was so smart. Oh my god. Yeah. I hate it. And like, the reason I'm mad is like, we literally knew that like Olenna wouldn't just let her
granddaughter,
her granddaughter
marry Joffrey
at the hands of someone like Joffrey. And especially, like, she already freaking knew, and then Sansa confirmed everything further. And, like, she wouldn't have just sat by.
Yeah.
Cray. So, okay, question. So then the Viper shit was just a red herring to make us, like, to make some people think it was actually Tyrion, because then we didn't have Tyrion be like, oh shit, what happened? So you really had to wait to be like, is it Tyrion? Like, you know? And then to make other people like me think it was Red Viper.
Yeah.
And then it was just fucking none of them. And it still wasn't even just Littlefinger.
Yeah.
And then it was Olenna. But I'm still a little confused about the logistics. Okay, but let's go through what we know, and then I'm still confused.
So here's what happened. So Littlefinger was dispatched to Highgarden to kind of arrange the marriage and that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So he gets there, and he can immediately tell that not Randall Tarley, what's his name? Mace Tyrell. Oh god, Mace Tyrell is just not it, but clearly he can tell that Olenna is on top of her shit. Yeah. And he does this whole thing where he like praises Joffrey endlessly in front of them, but then plants all these little rumors about what Joffrey is actually like, so that they get worried about him. And he also, through that, arranges for Loras to become a part of the King's Guard. Yeah. And while making them, Mace think that it's all his idea.
Yep.
And that creates the situation where Olenna now knows that Joffrey ain't shit, and that Loras will kill Joffrey if he threatens Marjorie, and that would be a bad situation for the Tyrells. Yeah. So she has to figure out a way to avoid it, and then therefore colludes with Littlefinger to do this, like, in a, covert way, I guess, Yeah. And she also, the other part of this is that Mace is determined to make Marjorie queen, but that doesn't mean she needs Joffrey, it just means she needs a king, and Tommen's gonna be king, so Littlefinger is betting that Marjorie and Tommen are gonna be married very soon.
Oh my god. But, if Tywin or Cersei, especially, but even, other people, like Jaime and, other people, imagine if they found out.
But how?
I don't know how, but if they did, that's, I don't know, that scares me. But, because I'm scared of their wrath. I could never do this for many reasons, but I also that's just scary. That's terrifying. But yeah, no, oh my god, this blew my mind. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But like,
the other aspect of this, I think, which we don't get in this chapter, but I think he kind of hinted at in the other chapter, is that he planned to well, no, we actually get some of it here too, but he definitely planned to blame Tyrion for the poisoning.
Yeah.
And he did some, like, we know Littlefinger admits that he was the one behind the act with the dwarves, which would no doubt enrage Tyrion and, like, create, like, motive for him, right?
Yeah.
And
the Tyrells were also the ones who gave the gigantic goblet thingy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, I was just thinking.
Oh, okay.
not like part of the theory. I was just like, I was just thinking about how it had come to be.
All right. Yeah, and also, like, Tyrion gets accused, hopefully, in terms of, like, Littlefinger's plan, gets convicted, gets killed. Sansa is free to marry somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's what Littlefinger wants. Now, my question to you is, why did he need Sansa to wear the hairnet? Why couldn't Olenna Tyrell just bring her own hairnet, or, like
bring the poison?
Yeah.
And then I guess, like, because what I'm confused about is if she knew the whole Sansa thing was happening. Because even at the wedding, she was like,
I don't know if she knew that Sansa was escaping.
So maybe, like, the hairnet was also part of, like, oh, we can also just blame Sansa if something happens, and, like, the stone, I know, like, something happened, right? Like, it dissolves, or something happens in water or wine or whatever. Like, we know that trace is gone, but if that trace were to be found, like, let's say Tyrion hadn't dumped out the wine, and, like just so the paper trail would lead back to Sansa rather than somewhere else, right?
I do I agree. Like, I think this was to ensure that it's kind of to burn bridges for Sansa, to, like, implicate her in the poisoning.
Yeah.
So that she has no option but to rely on Littlefinger, which is quite abusive behavior, but what else can we expect from Littlefinger? So
yeah, like,
yeah, because, like, even Tyrion, even if he still, like, wanted to protect Sansa, like, and we see that he kind of still does, you know?
Yeah.
If he finds out that Sansa wore the hairnet, like, that's gonna change his his perspective on that.
He's gonna think, oh shit, because we all know Sansa has all the motive in the world. Joffrey treated her terribly, killed her father, like, every literal thing, like. So, it wouldn't be hard to believe that she did it if all of the evidence was pointing against her, you know? That's exactly what it would be, so.
Yeah.
So, my question about the logistics is, okay, so, because I went back to the chapter, she kind of, or no, she did it once.
I think, sorry. Oh, I'm going to write this down so I don't forget.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to forget either.
Yeah, okay. So I went back to the chapter, and, like, she interacted with them, like, once, and, like, Tyrion was chapter? There too. The wedding? Like, because I was trying to figure out when this physically happened, because I was so confused. And basically, like, she's like, oh, I would have taken you with me. Like, she basically comes up to them, and she's like, oh my god, the wind! Your hair, let me fix it, right? And does the whole thing. So I'm assuming she takes a stone at that point. But then as she's leaving, like, after the conversation's over, and Sansa's like, oh, but my lord husband, and she's like, oh, yeah, you know, and then she leaves, she kind of she either, like, pats her head, I don't exactly remember, but there was contact with her hair again, so I guess I was just like, just for good measure, you know, like, oh, I'm just a sweet old grandma touching your hair, nothing to see here, and then leaves. Okay, so she takes the stone, is what happens. Yeah. And then, I guess because she's on the dais, like, right beside them, basically. So she could
And
have at
people,
any
like,
point...
are distracted. Joffrey's, like, over there shitting on Tyrion. Like, all sorts of things are happening, you know?
But I guess I'm just confused about, like, because... Yeah, because it was right as he was, like...
Well, like, there can't have been in the chapter where it was like, Lady Olenna stood suspiciously by Joffrey's goblet. Like, that couldn't have happened.
No, I know, but I was trying to, like, imagine it in my head, like, how it was playing out. And
Right.
I just, like, it gives you nothing, so I couldn't really imagine. I just had to make it up, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it makes sense. There was dwarves going on, there was Tyrion, Joffrey shenanigans, there was Joffrey just drinking and drinking. So I guess that, it's one of those, like, it's not, like, plot armor, but, like, oh, just because it had to be this way it happened. But it's, like, obviously it was, because he filled that goblet, like, a bunch of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she drops it just as at the exact time that he's about to go stand right by Tyrion. Like, you know, it's one of those,
well,
like,
no,
perfect
he like,
things.
walks away from Tyrion, drinks, and then dies.
Oh, okay. Because he just walked away from Tyrion. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and, like, Tyrion was the last person to, like,
fill his goblet.
publicly handle the, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. Just, oh my god, chaos.
Yes, indeed.
Wait,
okay,
in the
the thing I want...
In the show, do we see it happening?
I can't tell you things.
Do we see it happening?
Do you want to see the show or not?
You don't have to tell me why or why not, because maybe in the show, like, Olenna
well,
Tyrell
maybe
doesn't
something
even
different
exist.
happens
Or maybe
in the show.
that's
Maybe
what I'm saying.
Joffrey lives to reign forever.
Exactly.
I'm not telling you shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why all you have to say is yes or no. You don't have to explain why.
I'm not saying anything.
Does she poison... No, do we
I'm
see
not
her
saying
poison
anything.
I'm not saying does she poison him.
I don't
saying,
remember, to be
do
honest.
we see the poisoning happen?
I don't remember.
I don't believe you. You're a liar.
I don't remember. Okay,
Liar.
so...
Pants on
the
fire.
thing that is more important than your random musings is... so we also know how... You know how Sansa was gonna marry Willis and, like, run off to Highgarden?
Yeah.
That plan got fucked up because somehow the Lannisters found out.
Yeah.
We now know how the Lannisters found out because Sansa told Dantos, and Dantos was working for Littlefinger, and Littlefinger clearly told the Lannisters.
Oh my god.
So as to not let her get out of his grip.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
see,
fucked up.
I have more important things to say than you.
Fuck you.
Basically, that's the end of that conversation. Then, 8 days later, Lysa Arryn arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes up, like, on her horse, and oh wait, no, this isn't the part yet. Okay, while they're waiting, Peter's talking about, like, his little folk and about a hermit that used to live in a cave and once prophesied he would be a great man, and Littlefinger was like, yeah, well, I knew that already, so who cares?
Oh my god.
So yeah, anyway, then Lysa finally approaches, and she doesn't look anything like Sansa imagined she would.
Please.
But Littlefinger, like, kneels to kiss her fingers and is like, oh, will you marry me? Like, the small counselor commanded me to woo and win you.
Oh my god.
And she does the mayhaps I could be persuaded. And she's like, well, what gifts have you brought to melt my heart? And he's like, I've brought the king's peace. And she's like, poo to the peace? She literally says that.
Poo to the peace.
Yeah, what else have you brought me? And Littlefinger chooses this moment to be like, my daughter, Elaine Stone.
Please.
And Lysa is not pleased with that.
Oh my.
And so they come in, and basically Lysa's like, I want to marry you now, this very second, because I cannot wait another day to fuck
I've
you.
waited
like that.
my entire life. Oh my
It's
god.
just too much.
This is so much ick. I can't.
Yeah, Littlefinger's trying to be like, well, we should do it publicly, because obviously he wants to, like, ensure the legitimacy of this thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, like, have a great, like, big audience and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, nope, I won't do that. And he's like, well, maybe I can bed you and then wed you. He's, like, trying to, like, bargain with her. And she's like, nope, not happening.
Uh-huh.
So, literally, the wedding happens.
Yeah. She has, like, a singer with her.
Like, she gets in, it says they said their vows within the hour. Like, what?
Yeah. Wow. A little hasty.
Yeah. And, you know, they've got, she's brought her singer, Marillion. Thoughts on this guy?
Yeah. He was the one. Him? Yeah. He came with fucking Tyrion. And that inn. And Tyrion fucking hated him. And it's not that
Catelyn hated him.
And it's not that I like him, but now I hate him even more. And he's so annoying. And
rapey.
Yes, that too. But didn't he... Okay, I wanted a refresher on this. So he basically, like, made fun of Tyrion and, like, was annoying and loud.
Well, he met them at the inn and kind of just, like, wouldn't shut up. And Catelyn was just like, can we leave already? Like, I don't want to be near the singer. But because she was pretending to not be Catelyn, she couldn't really say anything, you know?
Right.
And then Tyrion walks in and she does the whole thing, like, arrest him for if you are all, like, honorable men or whatever.
Yeah.
And people arrest him. And then they would catch up with them, like, in the next chapter on the road. And we find out that Marillion just... tagged along uninvited.
Oh my god. And now he has this whole gig.
Yeah.
It's fucking Robert
and he's ingratiated himself with Lysa apparently and is Lord Robin's favorite.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Anyway, but Lysa is very happy at the feast and whatever, and she It said, like, mead and marriage had taken years off Lady Lysa. Like, she's genuinely happy. So I guess I'm happy for her, but also...
No.
Like, should
Absolutely
you be really...
not.
Like, how much does she really know Littlefinger? And...
It's just, like, you know...
Can he be trusted?
Yeah.
Not that I have, like, an extreme love for Lysa, but, like, I don't want a horrible husband for her.
Yeah,
again.
And, like, he's just gonna use her, and I feel bad, because he didn't even like her. We know that.
Well, he clearly has been. Like, and later on she says something like, oh, I got John Aaron to find him a job, and then, like, he did so well, we, like, made him master of coin. Like, she has been kind of instrumental in his rise to power.
No, she has, but I'm just saying, like, he has used her and is using her.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that he always wanted... So. Yeah, and he always wanted Catelyn.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, all that shit. And I just feel bad, because it's like, you know, she had to marry someone, like, whatever, 20 years older than her. Terrible marriage. Like, obviously she wasn't very happy with that. I feel
like way more than 20. Like, the guy was her grandfather's age.
Okay, like 30, 40, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, like, homie had to live that. So, of course, she's gonna, like, go back to her childhood, like, crush at, like, you know, a drop of a hat. But it just, it's just sad, because it's like, this is not what you think it is, Lysa, you know?
And if we think what Tansy is what we think Tansy is.
Yeah.
There may also be that.
Yeah, because... Right. Because...
Or tell me what you remember about that situation.
Yeah, Tansy was basically her... It was like a forced abortion / miscarriage, question mark. Mm-hmm. I remember us having a debate.
Like, her father kind of did it, and he was, like, totally regretful on his deathbed, and...
Yeah. So, was that Littlefinger?
And, like, well, we theorized that potentially it was Littlefinger.
Right. Yeah, so now it's like, oh, we can finally actually have a child. My dad's dead.
Yeah, she's like, put a baby in me. Like...
Yeah, this is just, like, she needs severe help. Like, she is not okay.
Pineapple?
She needs help. Yeah, literally pineapple. She needs therapy. She is not okay. Like, she is not okay. Her behavior, her thoughts, nothing is okay.
Yeah, I mean, she has gone through a lot of trauma.
She has.
So, like, I don't blame her for her mental state, but it is something that is
affecting everything and everyone, and it's not good. And
yeah.
It's leading her down some paths that I don't like.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're married. They're feasted. Now it's time for the bedding. And Sansa's like remembering back to her wedding and glad that she was spared that. But then she gets like kind of pressured into the bedding ceremony and like undressing Peter and all that. And like everybody believes that he's her daughter.
Yeah, how are they just okay with this? That's insane. That is not okay. You are like, that's traumatizing. No. Nobody wants to see their parents that way.
No,
that is not okay.
Like what? Okay, so anyway, they're bedded and they have the bedchamber to themselves, and they're having sex, and Liza is loud and screaming and vocal, and I'm like, good for you, I guess, but also like, I don't want to be hearing this.
Oh my god. I can't. It's just, this was so ick. I wanted to throw up every time.
I mean, like, to her, this is her, like, dream wedding, I guess, you know?
Yeah, but it's Littlefinger!
I know. It's hard to...
It's ick. I can't be happy for her, and I'm not going to.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sansa is, like, sleeping where everybody else is sleeping, and she kind of hunkers down beside, like, this little dog. I don't know if the dog has a name. And as she's kind of settling in, Marillion comes sniffing around and being really gross and rapey and everything. Yeah. I won't get into details because I don't want to. And finally, is it Lothar Brune who comes and...
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, like, she tries to be like, my father... Peter will hang you for this, and he's like, well, Lysa loves me, and I'm Lord Robert's favorite, so nobody can get to me, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's when
Lothar Brune.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so that's when she hears a voice, somebody like pushing this guy off. The reason it like took me a second to remember Lothar Brune is because she initially has this moment of like, the Hound? What?
Can we talk about this? Because, okay, earlier, let's go chronological. So, earlier, she's like, she's remembering her own, like, after the whole betting shit with Littlefinger, which, okay, not to like add more, he like smiles at her as all of that is happening, and that just made me mad, and it just icked me out even further, and I was like, I don't like that. And then after that was followed with like, she's thinking of like her own wedding night and like with Tyrion, and then suddenly her thoughts go to Hound and him being like, a dog can smell a lie, everyone hears a liar, like that, like whole formative shit, like, he'd given her of, like, people are all liars, like, at least I don't pretend to be what I am, whatever. And then I was like, okay, whatever. You know, she's just thinking about that, because that was such a big piece of advice and, like, truth that he'd given her, so that makes sense. But here, like, why is George shipping Sansa? Because everything else up until now, there was a purpose. Because it made sense, right? Because he saved her in those few times where it was like there was literally nobody else on her side, and he would like save her from like something shitty and Joffrey. But now it's just like, why? What is this weird? I don't like this. I'm not for this. Why are we pushing this agenda? Because at this point, there was no reason to think of him.
Yaya will be so disappointed.
I'm sorry, Yaya, but like you are aware that it is not a healthy ship, and that's part of the reason that you ship it. But I just like, and now it's like she's like, wow, someone's here to save me. Must be the it's not the fucking Hound. How would the Hound be here? And I don't know. Like, okay, fine. You know, she's a child. Fine.
I'm loving this rant.
You know, children have crushes on, like, we've all had a childhood, like, teacher crush or someone in a position of power, right? So I get it, you know, authority can be hot sometimes, you know, and he did, like, I get it. I understand. I just don't like it because it's ick. But I do understand this from Sansa's perspective. Like, even if she does have a little bit of a crush, like, I do get it. But it's just ick.
Do you think she and the Hound will ever see each other again?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has Arya now, so they have to.
Right, but they decided to turn back towards River Run, remember?
It's fine. It's fine. One day...
They're gonna make for River Run.
One day they will see each other again.
Okay.
But yeah, Sansa has a crush, and I'm not a fan of her crush. I'm trying to get her to drop him, but it's not working.
I know that feeling all too well. So, she barely sleeps that night and obviously is having bad dreams the little time that she does sleep. And, yeah. And then she wakes up and turns to the dog and says, I wish you were lady. Oh.
Sad.
So sad. Oh, no, I can't think about that. It's too sad.
It's fine.
So anyway, the next morning, the happy couple is having breakfast in bed when they call Elaine up to their chamber. I'm just going to start using Elaine now to help her with her identity crisis. Or
please, because she listens to this podcast.
Yes, of course.
Delulu.
Yeah. Basically, they're going to leave for the Eyrie that afternoon, and he has told Lysa who Elaine Sansa is, and Lysa's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, you look like her a little bit, but also we need to darken your hair before we bring you back to the Eyrie. And also, don't call me aunt, because no one should know that you are here.
Yeah.
And... yeah,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Or a statement. I feel like, what did Littlefinger tell her for why she's here? I worry that he told her that she killed Joffrey, so now she needs, like, safe haven.
Refuge. Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially with her being like, oh yeah, you know, Joffrey sucked, I got you. I feel like that was also a little indicative of, like, Littlefinger just pinning it on her.
But Lysa also hates Tyrion, and currently Tyrion is the one accused of the murder.
Yeah, true.
And she seems convinced that he's going to be convicted and killed. So, I don't know.
So is he just like, oh, like, she would have been convicted with her husband? Like, or like, I just wanted to get her away from that terrible husband. For our mutual friend Kat's sake, you know? Like...
Yeah. And yeah, she's like, oh, that vile husband of yours, Tyrion. And Sansa's being like, okay, well, I didn't want it. They forced me to do it. And then Lysa goes into her own, like, I was forced to marry Jon Arryn. Yeah. And he was old and half his teeth were gone and his breath smelled like bad cheese.
That's so sad.
And she wanted to marry Peter, but my father said he was too low-born, but I knew how high he'd rise. And this is when we learned how she, like, got Jon to give him the customs, and how, like, that eventually led to him being brought to King's Landing and Master of Coin and all of that. And how hard it was for her to see Peter every day, but not get to have him.
Hey, she jump-started his career.
Yeah.
Go off, Lysa. Also, fuck you, Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, but also, freaking, oh, I still believe that she killed Jon Arryn, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, I think we talked about this. I just have forgotten.
Yes, because we talked about that, like, books ago, or a while ago.
What was her motive?
According
to you?
husband. And also, I think, because he was like, oh, I'm gonna foster him here. But, like, but then because of Robert, he changed his mind last minute. Or, like, there was an issue there because we never actually clarified where he was going to be fostered.
Right.
So all of that. So I feel like there was that. And then, like maybe just, like, some sort of other shit. Like, they were just having marital issues.
Yeah, and she is
gotta save
here
my
lamenting
son.
his long life. He's like, all my little babies died, but that old man just went on and on with his stinking breath. Yeah. Which is an interesting way to say that.
I'm dead.
Yeah. And she's like, so I've suffered too. And also, by the way, do you know that your mother is dead? And Sansa's like, yeah, I know.
Please. I love that
and then
doesn't think she'd know.
Tears welled suddenly in Lady Lysa's eyes. And she's like, we are women alone now, you and I.
Bruh.
And she does the, like, I would never turn away Catelyn's daughter.
Yeah, but you turned away Catelyn when she came to you.
You tried to what?
Like, you turned away Catelyn when she came to you.
Right.
Wonder that you wouldn't turn away Catelyn's daughter.
Yeah, she turned away Catelyn's plea for help in the war, for sure. So, basically, Lysa gets down to business. Is like, are you with child? Have you flowered yet? Like, those kinds of things. And Sansa's like, no, we never had sex. And she has to, like, explain why. And she can't be like, oh, because Tyrion was kind to me, because that won't fly with Lysa.
Yeah.
So she has to be like, well, he got his, like, sex from sex workers, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And Lysa's like, immediately, well, yeah, that makes sense. Nobody else would want to have sex with him otherwise, like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He was evil. He killed my Sir Vardis Egan and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it totally wasn't a trial by combat to save his life or anything. But, okay, so, recap. We know Robert just, like, didn't take a liking to him. And we know Lysa to Tyrion.
Tyrion?
And we know Lysa hated Tyrion because Catelyn was also like, oh, he, like, fucking tried to murder my son. Was that it? Or was there other aspects?
But also Lysa hates the Lannisters because she was like, the Lannisters poisoned my husband. Oh. You did it, Tyrion. That's what she accused him of.
Oh, she thinks...
No, hang on, no. Sorry. The trial was for potentially killing Bran. No, Bran. Not Bran. Yeah. It's too much. Too much.
Okay, so...
My little brain can't handle it.
Please. Okay, so she also is like, Lannister, fuck you, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Robert hated him, and Robert is always right, because he's the light of her life. And then Catelyn was like, he fucking tried to kill my son. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if Robert, like, hated him for any particular reason, or if it was just osmosis from his mother, and his mother was like, well, make the little man fly. And he was like, yeah, I want to see people fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, she is like, yeah, I'm glad I am you're rid of Tyrion. Also, it wasn't cool of Catelyn to bring him to the Vale in the first place. And also, she took away my uncle. That's not cool.
Took away, huh? It's not like he wanted to fight for something other than your frickin' neutrality.
Yeah. So... she's gonna make Peter the Lord Protector of the Vale. Great. Another title.
Great. Thanks, frickin' Lysa, for nothing.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, like, he's so great. He may not look as tall and strong as some, but he's worth more than all of them together. Trust in him and do as he says.
Lysa is the definition of Delulu. And it's a little sad. And also, I just don't like that. Because now the whole Mountain Clan stuff, like, he's not going to handle that well as Lord Protector of the Vale. Like, I don't know. Just don't like him getting more power. I don't like him.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so the next bit is her being like, that Joffrey was terrible. He used to call Robert cruel names, and he hit Robert one time. And some people will tell you that poison is dishonorable.
Yes.
But a woman's honor is different.
Yes. Okay.
A mother must do what she must to protect her child.
Yes. This confirms everything that I already thought, but also this is also what made me think that maybe Littlefinger... This added to my thing of Littlefinger telling her that Sansa had something to do with it. And also...
Wait.
And also, to me, this is Lysa poisoned her husband.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not missing the most important part of this, okay. I promise. I promise. Yeah, but this makes me
You just wanted to know we're order with that?
I know. I just... Because I knew I wouldn't forget the second one, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, right? And, like, this doesn't make me happy, per se, but I just like that I got this before the book told me. So.
Well, no, it's not telling you, but it is suggesting it.
It is telling me, okay?
Until she says, I poisoned my husband. I'm not gonna take it.
But we can't get... This is too late for a red herring. That could have literally... Like, come on. Book 1, book 2, all of book 3. Like, you're joking.
Yeah. Okay, so there is, like, maybe a chance she thinks that that Sansa poisoned Joffrey, but she's cool with it, so it's fine.
Please.
Yeah, so she's like, well, one day you'll get married, and Sansa's like, yeah, well, I am married. And she's like, not for long, you're gonna be a widow, and I'm glad you didn't have sex with Tyrion, because it would not be fitting for my son to take his leavings, which is just so gross.
Yeah.
Just
get out. And stay out.
Yeah, and she's like, how would you like to marry your cousin, the Lord Robert? She, like, puts it as a question as if it's a question.
Please.
That sounds just immediately like, yeah, obviously she wants me to marry Robert for the claim.
This was so sad. No one will ever marry me for love. Damn, Sansa. I'm sorry. Sorry, girly pop. Yeah.
But lying comes easy to her now, so she says, I can scarcely wait to meet him.
I can't.
But also, isn't he a child?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, well, he is 8 and little and, like, not the strongest, but he's great.
But the seed is strong.
Me. Yeah.
Girl, you really took that the wrong way. Okay, but also, she's like, it has to be a secret wedding. So what's the point?
No, they're going to secretly wed now and then announce later. I feel like that's the plan.
But they're going to say who are they going to say it is?
No, they're not going to tell anybody that they're married yet.
But when they do, who are they going to say
it says, I see no reason why you should not be wed as soon as we know that Tyrion is dead. So Tyrion dies. They get married in secret. They keep it a secret for years until it makes sense to tell everybody she's actually Sansa. And they can be like, yeah, we claim Winterfell. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but this is so... Lysa is such a confusing Lysa doesn't make sense. Because... So she's terrified of the Lannisters. And she's like, oh yeah, one day they're just gonna go away? Like, what does she think is... Does she think that if in 30 years... they say this, people are just gonna be okay with it? What does she think is gonna happen? This feels very much like, I'm just gonna make you marry him so he has a friend and we'll worry about shit later.
It pretty much is that.
But that makes me so mad. Also, it's really funny that her and Littlefinger are married because they have the opposite approach to life and everything that there ever is.
Well, maybe Littlefinger has some influence on this decision and he has some plans that make sense.
I don't like that. I hate it.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. Because I'm thinking, like, if I were Littlefinger, I have to sell to Lysa that, like, Sansa's now living with them, you know?
Right. So he can be like, oh, and he'll have a friend, and you can get married, and you'll have Winterfell.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
I guess. So
I don't know. We don't know.
And then he does the long shot, and he's like, huh, we can't ever act on, like, at least for the time being, we can't even act on this, but she's not going to care or think about that. Yeah.
Anyway, so Sansa's going to be less of a playmate and more of a babysitter, it seems, you know?
Basically.
she's gonna read to him because he likes stories, but his eyes are weak. Like, what? I think George R. R. Martin went a little too hard with the illnesses with this kid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Given that, Targaryens are like healthy despite their inbreeding, and this kid is like, I don't know. Like, not that like genetics solely dictates your health. I don't know. It's just like, it's interesting to me why would George R. R. Martin put such an emphasis on his, I was going to say well-being, but like lack of well-being.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a bunch of things, right? It's like it's the age gap. It's probably also like, well, I guess not. But this boy's life has been insane too. And I just feel like there's a lot of environmental pressure with that too. So I feel like it's probably like genetics, environmental, and like I know Lysa's like crazy protective of him, but I don't know if she's like the best mother. So I don't know if this is like being managed very well. Like I feel like if like a maester tries to give her advice on something, and if she just doesn't like it, she might just be like, "Oh well, I'll just go to someone else." Like, you're clearly wrong. Like, she'll keep going until she gets the answer she's looking for. So maybe via that, like, his health maybe could honestly just be worsening too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So I don't know.
Yeah, because overprotectiveness.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also, like, him being so old too, right? Like that is a big
John
thing.
Aaron?
Yeah. Like, that is
You're
a big
saying the
thing.
seed wasn't strong?
Like, no, the seed wasn't strong. The seed was old. Seed was worn out, you know? And like,
okay.
it's like, it's science. Like, it's not, like, it's,
no, I get it.
There's more chances of shit. Like, you can't, and like, maybe he just got the short end of the stick, you know? And then I don't know. Not a very healthy home, it seems.
Yeah, but anyway, he's just a sick kid.
Yeah.
I think, like, literally the first time we hear about him, somebody's like, he's very sickly.
He's sickly, yeah. I think that's basically all we ever hear about him. But also, I don't really want to get to know him because he's just annoying.
Well, whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen, because that's where Sansa's headed.
I don't like it.
And just in case she forgets, she is a beggar now. So, while she may have been, a Stark of Winterfell, she has fallen on hard times and has to put her pride aside and should be grateful. My son will have a grateful and obedient wife, which is really, like, that's what your husband wanted from you, Lysa, and you resented him for it. And now you're putting, like, perpetuating that on this other child, like,
Yep.
She just doesn't see the contradictions in her. Like, she's like, yeah, we've been through tough things, and I understand your pain, and like, I've suffered too, but just to make sure, I'm gonna make you suffer too. Like,
basically.
Anyway, so just to be clear, that Sansa has no, like, upper hand. She has no power in this situation, and she is once again a pawn in the game.
Lovely.
Yeah. Okay. Predictions?
Yes.
Will she and Robert get married? Secretly or otherwise?
Probably.
Okay. Will she and Robert get along?
She'll have to get along with him.
How will people react to this wedding? Like, we know the Lannisters wanted. Like, they literally sent him here for this.
Yeah.
But what about, like, other people in the Vale? How about, like,
I think the
who else is left that's alive?
I think the Vale people will hate him. Brynden Tully will hate it.
Right.
Mountain Men will be like, the fuck? Lannisters and all of them are like, okay, yeah, this is the point. Took you long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other people aren't alive, or they're busy at the wall, or beyond the narrow sea, or whatever.
Okay. Cool. I think, okay, what else can we predict on? Because this was a lot of, like, I don't want to call it exposition because it was so juicy, but it was kind of exposition.
Yeah.
Will anybody ever find out that Elena was part of killing Joffrey, that thing?
I think so. One day.
Who will? And how will that go down?
I don't know, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe, like, imagine Sansa told people she's no longer a pawn. Maybe she uses it against people. Maybe she, you know, internalizes Littlefinger's advice and Littlefinger's tactics, and she uses this to get her way with people.
She could.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
That would
she
be
does.
Cool. I'd love if she exposes people.
Okay, will Tyrion die, therefore making way for Sansa to marry somebody else?
I don't think so.
Okay, speaking of which, so you texted me a prediction regarding Tyrion's trial.
Yes.
After we recorded.
Yes.
So your prediction is that Cersei's final witness is actually Shae.
Yes, because I was editing our episode, and at one point I was like, oh, Tyrion, like, I was kind of sad because I was like, damn, like, the only person that could get Tyrion out of this is Shae, but we can't use Shae because, you know, that opens another can of worms. And then I was also thinking about how Varys didn't expose the whole Shae shit, even though he could have, when he was testifying against Tyrion. And we know he didn't mind taking his sweet time, so it wasn't like he was like, oh, that would take too long, because he took the entire damn day already. One thing on the agenda would not have significantly changed things. So, I don't know, I just got to thinking about all of that, and I also got to thinking about just the juicy twists that we get in these books.
Okay.
And it just, like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it makes sense. And also, I feel like Tyrion's constantly thinking about, I don't know if she loves me or if I'm just paying her. I don't know if she loves me. And you're always asking me if she loves him or if he's just paying her. And he's always thinking about Tysha. And it just feels like a culmination of Tyrion's emotional journey to have that happen. And then he has to hope that Viper can battle him out of this. But it's like, does he even want Viper to battle him out of this because he's so emotionally broken by it? You know what I mean? It just feels like what's going to happen.
So questions. Why would Shae do this? Like, so you think she doesn't actually care for Tyrion?
Not that she doesn't actually care for Tyrion. I think that will always remain gray. But I think Tyrion will see her testifying as a betrayal. But I think one of two things. Either Cersei just, like, tricked her and is maybe, I don't know. Somehow Cersei's like, oh no, you're doing this for Tyrion. But that doesn't make sense because now she's seen this whole trial. Like, I feel like before she could have tricked her and been like, oh, but, like, Tyrion's a terrible person, but, like, don't worry, it's fine, I'll spare Tyrion. Or, like, something. Some sort of trickery. But second thing is I think, like, maybe it's, like, because Tyrion was the one protecting Shae this entire time. And Tyrion was the one who was like, I'm gonna, like, get you to where you want to go, like, as much as possible. I can do things for you. But now it's, like, I think because the case is so strong, and even before the trial, I feel like everyone else could tell that as soon as Cersei accused Tyrion, like, everyone kind of fell into that trap, and it made sense. So
she's seeking protection from Cersei instead of Tyrion now?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Like, Cersei's like, I'm the only one who can give you protection.
Or like maybe she straight up threatened her.
Yeah, maybe she threatened her, or maybe she used her, or maybe Shae came to Cersei, or maybe Varys went to Shae to make her go to Cersei. Like, I feel like there's a whole host of factors that could have been.
Okay, but what could Shay say that would condemn Tyrion? Because, like, having a relationship with a sex worker would, not great in the eyes of his father, but, like, it's not exactly conducive to him having killed a king.
Yeah, but maybe, two things. She could make something up. She could be like, we were having sex and he told me this was his plan.
Okay.
Because we know the lies have gotten worse and worse as it's gone on, but that would be like a blatant Tyrion betrayal. Like, that would be like the worst thing she could say. So that, or like, it could just be like, oh, he always used to talk about how he didn't like Joffrey, or like, I don't know. I don't know specifically, but I feel like there's a way, because she's heard so much from Tyrion, like, he's confided so much in her, and I feel like there's, like, it's such a big secret for him and all that.
Right. I guess. Okay. All right, let's move on. That's kind of all I don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay. Predictions. Is Littlefinger gonna, like, stay in the Vale and, like, rule as Lord Protector, or is he gonna go back to King's Landing? Like,
I think he'll go back and forth a bit, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna commute.
Sure.
I think that's everything I can think of to predict on. Like,
yeah.
Oh, wait, kinda. Okay. So now we know that the Kettleblacks. Kettleblacks are somewhat loyal to Littlefinger. Like, one of them seems to have ideas of his own thing. Like, how is Littlefinger going to use them for his advantage in the future?
I think maybe, like, I don't know, like, because Cersei still thinks they're in her pocket. So maybe if he needs something, like, he needs, like, Cersei informant vibes, or if he needs, like, Cersei, like, he needs to convince Cersei to do something, or, like, without him being the one to suggest it, or something.
Right. Okay. So just, like, general court intrigue vibes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Jon.
Jon.
So, day and night, they're fighting. There's, like, no end to the barrage. Yeah. And, people are getting not a lot of sleep, not, like, they're eating, but, like, nobody really feels like eating, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They've lost some people. They get these morning arrows. They call them breakfast arrows, I think, right?
I can't.
And that are mostly caught by their, like, scarecrows, like straw men that they have, which they've named after people who died. And Jon at first was like, what the hell? But then he saw that it was kind of keeping up the morale, so he let it go, because they're taking bets seeing which one of them catches the most arrows.
Oh my god.
They're just trying to, like, survive,
Yeah.
And he's got a telescope vibe. And he's looking into the Free Folks camp, and they, you see, like, Mansurator's wife, and not wife, like, I don't think his partner, who is pregnant and close to giving birth, and the partner's sister, and he sees Tormund Giantsbane and his kids, and, like, there's this kind of, like, survey of the situation that we get.
Yeah.
Then he notices that they have built what they're calling a turtle, which is basically like a hull of a ship turned upside down vibe.
Yeah.
But then covered with pelts and all sorts of things to make sure it doesn't get lit on fire.
Yeah.
And to prepare, like, against it, Jon has had them freeze gravel and water in barrels so that they are now kind of the closest thing that they have to boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the turtle attack comes and like it's hard. They can't light it on fire. So finally when they get really close, they drop a bunch of those barrels on them and the turtle breaks and the people flee. That's the
oh my god
summation of that situation. Summation
yeah.
of that situation. I like that. Okay.
Please.
What else happens? Like, is there anything else in particular?
They get
it's just like a lot of like
they get a raven from the west. So the people that had gone off to fight, the people who, because you know they were like fighting on like other castles, and we were like, no, stay the fuck here, this is the only gate, like why do we need to go chase them?
It's so not Donald Noy, what's the name, the pomegranate's name?
Dennis Mallister?
No.
Bowen Marsh.
Okay. He went out with the like most of the strength of Castle Black.
Lovely.
He went all the way to the Shadow Tower and beyond it to fight like 300 free folk and lost like 150 of his own people.
Yeah. So that was literally useless. For nothing.
Yeah.
We could have, because we are defending so much with so little. And if we had that, you know, like we wouldn't have to waste as much. We could be more effective.
Yeah. And they're like, he's hurt or something, right? Like they are not going to be able to make it back anytime soon.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, but yeah, they're hurt, so we can't use them anytime soon. Freaking, and so after reading that, John, like Zay, the one village person from Molestown that had stayed behind, because she was like with the bow or whatever, so he sent her back to
Molestown to get those people
the villagers, but like basically she came back, or like
no, she didn't. She never came back.
And then he sent someone else after her. And it turns out probably her and probably everyone else who was initially even gone back just went straight down the King's Road, so they're gone. They're like, why would we stay here and wait?
They have fled. Which is smart of them, honestly.
Makes
like,
sense,
too bad for the Night's Watch, but...
Yeah, so they're
what
gone.
What can you do?
They're like, I ain't dying today, Satan. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So... that's kind of the end of John's shift. He is gonna go rest, and he puts Pip in charge. And we have this like Pip's like me, Gren's like him, and, like this whole little routine they do almost.
I love it.
So he goes to his room beneath like the Lord Commander's chambers, and he falls asleep. And when he wakes up, there's this stranger standing over him, ordering him to get up and like come with them, you know?
Yeah.
And at first John's like, wait, did they break through? Like, what happened? But then he realizes that this person's wearing all black, so he's like, okay, does this mean, you know, they've come to help finally?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So they march him from his bed to the like solar chamber, and Maester Aemon is there, and the Septon is there, half drunk as usual. And Sir Winton Stout, who's like the only knight left, but he's so old that he can't even like remember his name, kinda.
Yeah.
He's asleep somewhere in the room.
Yeah. And
Alliser Thorne is back.
The way literally last time, I was like, oh, where is he again? Isn't he in the dungeons? I think that's so funny that I said that, and now he's back. And I remember thinking or saying, I don't know which, but I remember being like, oh, like, you know, if he were back, I don't particularly like him, but it would be one more trained person that we would have.
It's almost like somebody asked, like, really good questions.
What do you mean? You said nothing about Thorne.
Okay.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what I mean either.
Okay. I thought you were referring to something, and I was like, am I missing something? But yes, it's almost like somebody leads. It's almost like somebody leads me to things. But I feel like that was me. I don't think that was a lead. But usually, yes, leading. But no, I remember...
I'm just joking. Okay.
I remember being like, oh, well, at least if he was back, like, you know, we'd have one more person. But now I'm like, no, I don't need him back. He can stay, wherever he was. But now it makes sense for why we never saw him, even though he'd been back for so long. But this is when he kind of, Alistair and Jon kind of go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, here's the turncloak now. And Jon's like, I'm no turncloak. Yeah, we shall see.
Lord Snow, he likes to call himself. You're the one who called me Lord Snow!
Seriously.
Like, he's so annoying. He's just determined to hate Jon. And it's just like, just because you are, like, I was about to say a finger of a man, and then all I thought of was little finger.
Little finger.
So I'm gonna change that. Just because you are a fucking thumb of a man doesn't mean other people...
But why would... Is that like an expression?
No,
or are you
I'm
just
making it up.
Okay.
I like it. Just because you are a thumb doesn't mean...
Thumbs are way more useful, though. He's like the little finger.
He is thumb, though. Like, he can fight.
He's a little
physically.
toe.
He's a little toe. Fine. Just because you're a little toe doesn't mean other people aren't fully formed humans, okay? Stop being jealous of other people's human just because you're a freaking toe, and start making the rest of your foot. Anyway.
Okay, this has gotten too weird.
It's not weird. I like it.
So, then, who we later find out is Janos Slynt speaks up and is like, you will not deny that you are Jon Snow, I hope, Stark's bastard.
I'm like, what did Eddard ever do to you other, like, literally nothing? Other than nothing. Like, come on, calm down.
Literally nothing. He thought you were on his side. You betrayed him.
Not betrayed, but like...
Yeah, held him down as he was executed. Like...
Yeah, so I don't know what you're mad about. Like, you're not that patriarchal that you're like... Or not patriarchal? Like, patriotic. I was like, that's not the right word. You're not that patriotic that you're like, wow, I can't believe you betrayed the king. Like, what are you mad about? Because all you could be mad about would be selfishness, you know?
Also, you got kicked out of the king's, city.
True.
So, like,
so are you
what
really...
loyalty do you have to them? He's still calling himself the Lord of Harrenhal, and we're like, that was like 5 lords ago, dude. It's been a while.
Please, I'm dead.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, do you deny that you abandoned your brothers to die on the Fist of the First Men and join Mance Rayder and lay with the wildling woman and all of that stuff? And Maester Aemon is like, hey, he answered all these questions and we were satisfied with the explanations he gave. But they're like, no, shut the fuck up. I will hear these explanations for myself. Please. And Jon's like, well, I abandoned no one. I left with the half-hand. He told me to join the wildlings. And yes, I slept with somebody and I cared for her, but I never turned my cloak.
Yep.
And then they bring in freaking Lord of Bones. What's his name? Rattleshirt. Like, neither of those things are his name, but I don't know his name, so. Jon doesn't even, like, recognize him because he looks so different without his, like... bone armor, yeah.
Yeah.
And he testifies that Jon killed the half-hand, and Jon is like, but he wanted me to. He literally said to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And, they are not, listening to him at all.
Oh my god.
And Maester Aemon is like, hey, y'all, he didn't turn his cloak. In fact, he's the only reason that you're sitting in Castle Black right now and it is not swarming with free folk because he has defended it. Like,
yeah.
Just fuck off.
Yep.
And, there's just a lot of bullshit. That's all it is.
Literally.
Oh, also, the Septon tries to be like, oh, he didn't take his vows in front of the 7 gods. He went out to the, wildling gods. And Maester Aemon has to be like, excuse you? y'all got here after. Like, those gods have been here, the gods of the North, forever.
Yeah.
And Jon Snow has proven his loyalty. And also, the Lord Commander chose him as his steward and squire because he saw the potential in him. And I see it as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, and then, like, Janos Slynt has to be like, your father died a traitor, and, like, just, like, bring that whole shit in, like...
Yeah, but you're saying he's not even really his kid, so you can't use it at both times. You can't be like, you're not your father's real kid, but then be like, you're just like your father. I don't like that.
Well, he doesn't say real kid, he says bastard, just like...
No, but, like, they're like, oh, you're not a legitimate child of this person because you're a bastard,
right.
But all of your bad supposed qualities we're gonna blame on
Come from him.
You know what I mean? You can't play it both ways. I don't like it.
Yeah, and he's like, well, your dad died by the sword, but he was highborn, but for you a noose will serve. And they banished Sean to an ice cell.
I hate it here.
Yeah.
And then
oh, right, hang
Alistair.
on. My lord is wise, Sir Alistair sees Jon by the arm, and then Jon yanks away, grabs Alistair by his throat, and lifts him off the floor.
Slay.
Just...
Go off, king.
Yeah. But then Alistair's like, see how much of a wildling he really is, and, like, that whole thing.
I hate people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the quickest we've, like, recapped a chapter.
I think it's always, whenever there's fight, die, we're really good at recapping.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Because I know you're going to ask me about predictions and what happens next, but I'm confused about what's happening right now. So is the battle still happening? And they're just, like, was he summoned? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is that all still going on? And now we're about to murder Jon?
Like, I don't hear otherwise.
Yes, I agree. Like, we've had no indication that it's over, but I'm just kind of confused because I'm like, don't we have other things to focus on? Like, I just feel like if I was smart, which I know Janos Slynt isn't, and he has, like, no, you know, all that. I remember when I was like, oh, well, he was, like, leader of the City Watch, right? Like, maybe he has some leadership experience. Then you were like, no.
No, he's just trying to, like, assert his dominance. And
yeah,
Jon Snow is currently in charge.
That doesn't feel smart, because he could just...
Oh, it's not.
No. Yeah, but, like, I just feel like he should just... I feel like we should at least wait it out until the conflict is over and then punish the dude for his crimes. Like, you know, like, at least calm things down before trying to, like, rule.
Well, if he truly believes that Jon is a traitor, then he can be like, well, we can't have him amongst our ranks working for the enemy.
But why would he do all of that when he could have just let them?
That's common sense. You're applying it to people who don't have it.
But it's just frustrating, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so these people are here now. Hopefully there's more than, like, the 4 of them.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they have more reinforcements, can hold out against the attack?
A little bit, I think.
Okay. What about Jon? Like, so he's in a cell now. Like, he is imprisoned. And I don't know if, like, Janos Slynt kind of decreeing him, like, an execution counts, or whether they have to, like, do more on that. But, like, is Jon gonna die soon?
No way. I refuse to believe it.
Okay,
I refuse
so then
to
what?
believe it. He's not.
How does he
die.
Get out of this?
If he dies, I'm done with this series. He's not gonna die.
All right, so
here's why he's not gonna die. Okay,
back up your thesis.
Okay, wait. I have a lot of thoughts here. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, a few things could happen, right? Maybe people hates, because, you know, we've talked about, I remember when I was like, now Slynt's gonna try to be in charge, I hate it here. And you were like, yeah, but, like, they gotta vote on that shit and, like, that sort of thing. So I feel like they could use that to be like, oh, even though the king sent you, like, we, like, this is a democracy and we didn't choose you. So maybe Slint's overthrown and thereby, like, his decrees are invalid and, like, maybe that's how we can get Jon out.
Yeah, because all the people that have been fighting with Jon know that he's legit.
Yeah, so, like, you don't do all that if you're a turned cloak and you're trying to, you know? And, yeah, like, all of that. So I feel like that, and we know at the very, very, very least, like, Aemon and, like, Gren and Pip, all of them are, like, 100% in his corner. And then, like you said, all the other people fighting, like, then we have other backup, too. But, like, so I feel like we could have that effort of Slint being overthrown. We could have a miracle being worked where Alliser is somehow convinced. I don't believe in that, though, anytime soon. It could be, like, the fight against the Free Folk is going really badly, so maybe they're like, okay, Turncloak he may be, but maybe he can prove himself, or, like, some sort of, like, maybe it, instead of, like, overthrowing Slint, it's more like he's forced to release him because it was going well when he was there and it isn't now. Like, maybe they need the extra body, they need the extra fighter. Like, oh, we'll get to him after. And then afterwards, everyone's like, no, we love Jon, you can't kill him, you know? So maybe, like, circumstantially he gets saved. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like the fighting could call for it. We could overthrow Slint. Maybe he gets rescued in secret. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck would be doing that, though. There's, like, 2 people here. But, yeah.
Maybe Ghost breaks through the wall and, like, rips everybody to shreds.
Yes, that would work. Yeah.
Alright, that's good. I don't think we have any other predictions in this chapter. That was literally it.
No.
All right, let's wrap up then. We have an email. Let me pull it up. Where are you? Here we go. Okay, ready?
Uh-huh.
So this email is from Oliver. It's titled More Cues for the Pod, and it brackets Rick. Podrick.
Please, that's funny. Our entire podcast
I don't like this, but
is an ode to pod.
What's ode to pod?
Our entire pod is an ode to pod.
My most esteemed and pleasant regards to dearest Harmat. In brackets, and also hi Nava, I suppose. You know what? I'm the one who gets these emails. I'm gonna stop fucking reading them.
Beautiful. I love that. I approve that message. Mm-hmm, this message is approved by the government of Harmat.
Egotistical much?
I'm not egotistical. I'm just getting what I deserve.
Now that the Arya is out of the bag. Sorry. I mean, not that the cat is out of the river. Now that the cruel trick is over and, you know, Arya is still kicking, what do you expect from her now that she has a second chance in life? How do you see her story developing from a macro perspective?
Her and Sansa girl boss their way through life and get over their differences. Joking. Eventually. Maybe, like, because Sansa's the heir. Well, technically Jon's the heir, but technically Sansa's the heir. So that could be an issue. But, I mean, technically Sansa's the heir, right? Because Jon is also busy not dying, so...
Yeah, Rob did make, like...
I know, but, like...
Jon's the
But
heir.
who's gonna stand up for Jon?
I think they're all equally have a chance of being the heir right now.
True. So, I don't know. And then maybe, like... I don't know. Anyway, they're gonna girl bus. Anyway, so Arya, as of, like, now, near future, I think Arya will definitely, like, move up the ranks a bit. Because she can, like, fight. She's, like, resourceful. And, like,
So she's gonna be like, I'm Arya Stark, make me your commander? Like,
not make me your commander, but, like, she'll, like, get more experience under her belt.
Where?
Because she'll be at River Run.
Oh, right. So you think they're actually gonna get to River Run?
What? What is this negativity?
Isn't River Run currently under siege by the Lannisters?
Is it?
That was one of the visions.
Oh, that's sad. Never mind.
And they're not just gonna let River Run be and like, oh yeah, we, decimated your entire family. But yeah, you can rule Blackfish, no big deal.
Please. Oh, I forgot about that. Never mind. Arya's gonna die for real. There's no happy ending. I don't know. I just, like... My issue is that it feels like there's nobody alive anymore. So where is anybody supposed to go? You know? So, I don't know. I just feel like I see Arya becoming a fighting baddie.
Okay.
And moving up the ranks somewhere.
All right, I'll take it. Moving on. Similarly, what do you predict will happen by the end of the book? We often get chapter by chapter predictions, but this is a chance to completely ace every narrative arc that's not yet concluded. Will every character pack up and go vaguely east to join Daenerys, severely underpopulating Westeros? Will Tyrek Lannister reveal his master plan of poisoning Jon Arryn and assassinating Balon Greyjoy?
What?
That's such a, I think they're just putting, random pieces of information together for that.
I was like, am I missing several things?
Will you finally manage to succinctly summarize a chapter in under 30 seconds?
Excuse me?
I can answer that one. That's no.
Excuse me? I have done several great summaries in this book. I think before this book, no. This book, yes. I have summarized the hell out of things.
All right. Well, as of 9 days ago, this person doesn't think so. So
okay,
take that.
I don't care what people think.
That is the funniest thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
Okay, you know what? You can go die. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I will go die if it gives me the satisfaction of having heard that statement from your lips.
Please. I just don't really care. I march to the beat of my own drum.
Okay, no, but overall, how do you see this book ending? Like, the first one ended with,
happiness.
Ned dying, but, the North, rising in rebellion and Daenerys having dragons. And the second one ended with,
sad.
The Lannisters and the Tyrells getting together and Tyrion getting kicked out of power and,
Yeah, sadness. I think the third book will end with
do 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 do.
I don't really know, because the thing is, we are so close to the end of the book, it feels like, or it looks like.
We've read over 80%, yeah.
So, I don't know. What are we building up to? I don't know. Because to me, the second and third book have felt like such continuations of each other that, I don't even know. If we get
but the third one hasn't?
No, I'm saying the second and third one have felt so continuous.
Oh, second and third. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I heard first and second in my head.
No. So the third one, I just don't even know if there's, a natural conclusion or anything. I feel like things will just keep going wrong.
How about this? Who do you think will be in power by the end? Currently, the people with the most power seem to be the Lannisters,
I think maybe it'll end with, the Melisandre ritual.
And Stannis becoming powerful?
Stannis about to become powerful, but we don't see, you know how we saw the dragons and it was they're here, and then it was over, and we didn't really get the resolution of, oh, so dragons survive, Dany can actually use these dragons, they grow bigger, so maybe it's, we kind of get it, and we're okay, so is this stone dragon a thing? That sort of thing. So maybe it'll just kind of end off with Stannis with, the thing happening.
Okay. no other thoughts on anybody else? That's just like one aspect of the
fine,
story.
Fine. Like, Mance
Okay,
Rayder...
Lannisters. Like, they've got this big trial going, and, you know, there's
Tyrion
the struggle
gets
with
out.
the Tyrells, and...
Tyrion gets out. Fine. You know what? I'm just gonna make batshit predictions about every single person, since that's clearly what you're vying for. Okay. So...
I'm not vying for that.
Tyrion
I'm just trying to help this person get an answer to their question.
Tyrion gets out. Cersei...
Goes where? Like, hangs out in King's Landing?
Hangs out in King's Landing. Cersei finds out about Olenna Tyrell and goes batshit, and someone dies. Marjorie and Tommen get married.
Okay.
But not before they find out. Before they find out. And then Cersei or Tywin or someone... No, Jaime finds out. No, Tyrion finds out. But, you know, he has an uphill climb trying to convince people of anything. Tywin sends Tyrion to Casterly Rock because something happens. Or, I don't know, he's just like, go back home, whatever. And then Jon gets saved. And frickin', what's his face? Oh, Sam! Because Sam's with, Bran right now. So Sam and Bran...
Well...
Because
they parted ways.
They parted ways, and then that other Sam gets back, and he's like, "Hey, Jon, your brother's still alive." And then because Bran was gonna go with that other person, right?
Cold Hands.
Yeah, Cold Hands. And then did anything happen with that?
No, we just saw them leave.
Okay, right. So we'll kind of get a resolution to that. Like, maybe we'll finally meet this crow we've been talking about for 3 books. So maybe we'll get some magic-y fun stuff there. And then Dany will, you know, be doing her treks, doing her thing. Oh, wait, we're doing the thing of, trying to use the sewer system, and we're sending Jorah in there, and Barristan and Selmy in there. So maybe I think Barristan's gonna die.
But at the end of the book, is she continuing on to conquering more cities? Is she I'm gonna take a vacation, or is she I'm gonna head straight to Westeros?
I think she's going on. I think she's I'm gonna go straight to Westeros just for the tea of it. And they're successful, but like I said, Barristan dies in the process, and Jorah survives. Because Barristan is too useful for Dany. That's that. I told you that can't work. And then we already know Sansa's whole shebang. I don't think anything.
Well, if she's actually gonna make it to Westeros, she needs some useful people.
Yeah, well, she's not getting Barristan.
Okay.
And then Arya, Lord knows, because their plan was River Run, and that's not gonna work. So they'll probably just find somewhere to settle. Hopefully find a nice job, make some money.
Okay.
I'm so tired. I'm so sorry, Oliver.
All right.
I'm really tired, and I don't know why.
So Oliver continues. Whatever happens, we can all still hope for the swift return of to the story of noble Lord Edmure, gallant protector of the Riverlands.
Please. Oh yeah, he's
sent via
hostage.
Raven. Yeah, sent via Raven from the middle of nowhere, Australia, Oliver. P.S. Don't forget to plug the Discord. You rarely do anymore.
Please.
Okay, thank you for your email.
Thank you, Oliver.
And this time I will excuse your
the greeting.
rudeness.
Hey, it was not rude. It was funny.
I forgot to do next chapters before that email, so we're going to do them now.
Okay.
Okay, we're reading 2. Thoughts, predictions, hopes?
Maybe Arya and Bran.
Well, you got neither. We're reading chapter 70 and 71. Chapter 70 is Tyrion.
Oh, okay.
So
Trial
Shay
man.
testifies against him, and then what?
And then he's like, well, fuck you, fuck my heart, fuck love. fake people up in here. And then he has the trial by combat, and Viper fights for him, and he lives to see another day.
So the Viper wins against the Mountain.
Yeah,
okay.
Mountain dead.
So the Mountain's dead?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Or, like, the Mountain couldn't make it in time or something, and Viper wins.
What?
Like, something
I feel
happens.
like they would ensure that.
It's possible, hey?
Sure. All right, chapter 71, Daenerys.
Dany! Okay.
So they go into the sewers, Barristan dies, but do they ultimately conquer the city?
Yes.
Cool, so she is what? Okay, so just like that's the plot of the next chapter?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I guess that's cool. Anything else to add before we wrap up?
I don't think so. No. What are you doing? Why are you giving me looks? Oh, you're thinking.
No, it's because throughout this whole chapter, I've been thinking that I had thoughts.
And they were gone.
You know? And then they kept leaving. And I'm like trying to see if I can remember any of them.
Please.
It's gonna be... I'm gonna have to edit out so many just random silences where I'm just like, huh?
Please. Oh, also, okay. This is releasing the day after Halloween, so happy Halloween, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Yes, it is. Wait, no! JK!
No, it's not.
It's the following week! I forgot that the episode, like, we just released an episode a couple days ago. In my mind, this is coming out. Never mind. Cut all of that out.
I'm gonna leave it all in.
Fine. Whatever.
So people can see what you truly are.
So people can see that you don't edit.
As fuck.
I don't think they need to see that. They know that.
Anyway, I think we're good. So, thanks everyone for listening. Come join us on Discord. Follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium. Send us an email, which I will see if I want to read, depending on your greetings. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.